Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to tonight's show. You had many places to be tonight, but you chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Wow. What a day it has been, my friends. First, let me ask you, did you get the opportunity to watch Joe Biden an hour ago be 10 minutes late to his press conference? The press conference that he was forced to shuffle up to a podium and give because the special counsel's report came out today about Biden's classified documents that he kept when he was vice president, when he was a member of Congress. On one hand, the report says we're not going to prosecute him like we're doing Donald Trump, for instance. And then they went a step further and explained why they're not going to prosecute him. And that has caused a firestorm. Even CNN and MSNBC and all the liberal news media are pretty much agreeing that there's a problem with the current guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue when it comes to his mental health. And that's what the beginning of this show tonight is going to focus on. We're going to start with special counsel Robert Hur's putting it out there, telling us where he stands and where it's at. And before he released the report, it went through the Department of Justice for their verification. They sent it over to the White House attorneys to get their feedback. And then they said, go ahead and release it. Yet, I don't believe someone told Joe Biden what was in it. Because when he went to the microphone a little over an hour ago, he was livid. His whole purpose for coming to the microphone was to try and explain to the American people that he's not mentally ill, that he's perfectly capable of running the country. He was angry. He was lashing out at reporters. He was lost. He was lost for words throughout his entire little speech. And I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to say in my 62 years on this earth, real soon, coming up in April, I've never seen a president more humiliated by his own doings. Why his handlers allowed him to hold that press conference this evening, I don't know. The purpose was to show to the American people that he's competent and he's capable of running the country. But yet, and you go see it for yourself if you didn't watch it, it'll be all over YouTube here in a minute if it isn't already. What we saw was what we've been witnessing for the past 3+ years. A man that is mentally unfit to be president. So, Special Counsel Robert Hur said he will not recommend charges against President Joe Biden for his handling of classified documents while out of office, despite finding evidence that Joe Biden willfully retained classified materials. We conclude that no criminal charges are warranted in this matter, said Hur's report summarizing his year-long probe. Our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified information after his vice presidency was over when he was a private citizen. The exact same thing that they're trying to put Trump in jail for. These materials included marked classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan, and notebooks containing Mr. Biden's handwritten entries about issues of national security and foreign policy implicating sensitive intelligence sources and methods. FBI agents recovered these materials from Joe Biden's garage, his offices, and basement den in Mr. Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home, the report said. However, for the reasons summarized below, we conclude that the evidence does not establish Mr. Biden's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Prosecution of Mr. Biden is also unwarranted based on our consideration of the aggravating and mitigating factors set forth in the Department of Justice Principles of Federal Prosecution. For these reasons, we decline prosecution of Mr. Biden. We have also considered that if it were to go to a trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory, the report states. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president, well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness. According to Her's report, among the classified documents Biden retained were materials documenting his opposition to the troop surge in Afghanistan, conversation between him and, at that time, President Obama, including classified handwritten memos he had sent to Obama over a period of time in 2009, Thanksgiving holiday, which the FBI agents recovered from Biden's Delaware home and his garage. Asked in his interview with investigators about handwriting on a folder containing marked classified documents about Afghanistan, the report said Biden identified the handwriting as his, but said he recalled nothing about how the folder or any of this content ended up in his garage, his houses, or his office. The long-anticipated report was released today, hours after the White House reviewed the documents and announced, in keeping with his commitment to cooperate and transparency, the president would not assert executive privilege over any portion of the report. Of course he won't, because it was in his favor. Had it not been, you can bet your ass he would have voted executive privilege. But had he been able to be told exactly what was in the report and how it's showing that he's not mentally fit to be president, then they probably would have had something to say about it. Ian Sams, a spokesperson for the White House counsel's office, said in a statement that the president's legal team had completed a review of the report and that, in keeping with his commitment to cooperation and transparency, the president would not assert executive privilege over any portion of the report. And it's obvious if you watched his press conference tonight, he had no clue until it got released what it said. Attorney General Merrick Garland earlier this week informed key lawmakers that Her had concluded in his investigation, which examined how over 24 classified documents wound up at Biden's personal home and office. The records in question date back to Biden's time as vice president, and some included top secret markings, the highest level of classification. Garland appointed Her as a special counsel in January of 2023 after aides to the president discovered a batch of 10 documents at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C., where Biden kept an office after his vice presidency. A second discovery of additional records in the garage of Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home precipitated Garland's decision to assign Her a special counsel, NBC News reported at the time. And also because it was showing the world that, why are you going after Donald Trump and trying to convict him of this if Joe Biden's doing the exact same thing? So Garland had no choice to stop an uprising of American patriots in this country of saying bullshit. Investigators interviewed as many as 100 current and former officials, including Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, former White House Chief of Staff Ron Klein, and Hunter Biden, the president's son. In October, Her's team spent 2 days interviewing Biden himself. ABC News had previously reported that sources who were present for some of the interviews, including witnesses, said that authorities had apparently uncovered instances of carelessness from Biden's vice presidency. The White House emphasized from the beginning that it would cooperate with investigations or investigators. Biden himself repeatedly denied any personal wrongdoing and said he was surprised to learn that the documents even existed in his homes and his offices. Her investigation is played out quietly against the backdrop of special counsel Jack Smith's inquiry into former President Donald Trump's handling of classified records, which culminated last year in a 40-count indictment to which Trump has pleaded not guilty. Trump has sought to link his circumstances to Biden by trying to draw an equivalence between their conduct in calling his prosecution the result of a justice system and properly targeting Republicans. So, let me repeat again why Biden is not being charged, but Trump is. Even after the special counsel accused Biden of some of the exact same things that Trump is accused of by writing in the report, quote, "Our investigation uncovered evidence that the president, Biden, willfully retained and disclosed classified information while he was a citizen." Quote, "We have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory, and it would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness." Basically, the report says, in their mind, when they interviewed him over a period of 2 days, he was not mentally competent. So, if you will not charge Biden for committing the same crime that you're charging Trump for, because you say it's his age and mental illness, then why in the hell is he allowed to continue to be the president of the United States and run again as president? That's the $10,000 question, isn't it? What other proof is needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, words used in this investigation, that Joe Biden is mentally unfit to be president? Can't charge the man for committing felony crimes because of his mental state, yet he's running the country and nobody's doing anything to stop him. President Biden today struggled to remember certain key dates during his interviews with the special counsel as a result of his ongoing Israeli-Hamas war. That's right. His mental state wasn't there during the interview with the special counsel because of the ongoing war. If you believe that, I got some land to sell you in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Biden told reporters that he was handling an international crisis at the time of his interviews with federal investigators, shortly after Her released his 345-page report today, detailing the findings in his investigation into the president's handling of classified documents. In the report, Her noted that Biden's memory failed him multiple times in instances, saying the president forgot when he was vice president and when his son Beau had died. "I saw no delays. In fact, I was so determined to get the special counsel what they needed," Biden remarked. "I went forward with a 5-hour in-person interview over 2 days in October. the 9th, 8th, and 19th year, even though Israel had just been attacked by Hamas on the 7th. I was in the middle of handling an international crisis. Bottom line is a special counsel in my case decided against moving forward with any charges, and this matter is now closed, the president continued. Oh no, Joe, it's not over. Trust me. I'll continue to do what I've always done. Stay focused on my job like you do, of my job of being president. Well, you have to be mentally fit to stay focused, Joe. Additionally, shortly after the report was published, Biden's personal lawyers, Richard Sauber and Bob Burr, penned a letter to her criticizing him for his characterization of the president's memory. The lawyer said the report language has no place in the Department of Justice report. Really? Why not? If they spent 2 days with the man and he can't remember when he was president of the United States, he can't remember when his son died, he can't remember anything, how documents got to his house, how they got to his office. He can't remember anything over 2 days. You don't think that's relevant? You guys should be barred from being attorneys. We do not believe that the report's treatment of President Biden's memory is accurate or appropriate, the lawyers wrote. The report uses highly prejudiced language to describe a commonplace occurrence among witnesses, a lack of recall of years-old events. In fact, there is ample evidence from your interview that the president did well in answering your questions about years-old events over the course of 5 hours, they added in their letter. This is especially true under the circumstances, which you do not mention in your report, that his interview began the day after October 7th attack on Israel. White House Communications Director Ben LaBault reiterated Biden's counsel in a post on X, formerly Twitter, again calling attention to the dates of the president's interviews in this case. So now what you're telling us, Mr. Attorneys, is that Joe Biden can't chew gum and walk at the same time. Well, of course, we already know that. He can't ride a bicycle without falling off of it. He can't walk without tripping and falling. Who falls up a flight of stairs, as he did several times on Air Force One? In the report, Her detailed how Biden forgot basic facts about his own personal history and his family, even referring to Biden as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. And the report states that a jury would have trouble convicting Biden of having committed a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness. In his interview with our office, Mr. Biden's memory was worse, the report states. He did not remember when he was the vice president of the United States, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended. It was in 2013. When did I stop being vice president? And forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began in 2009. Am I still vice president? He did not remember, even within several years, when his son Beau died, the report says. And his memory appeared hazy with describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him. Among other things, he mistakenly said he had a real difference of opinion with General Carl Exelberry when he, in fact, Exelberry was an ally who Mr. Biden cited approvingly in his Thanksgiving memo to President Biden in a case, to President Obama, in a case where the government must prove that Mr. Biden knew he had possession of classified Afghanistan documents after the vice presidency and chose to keep those documents. Knowing he was violating law, we expect that at a trial, his attorneys would emphasize these limitations in his recall, the report says, and that is exactly what the attorneys would have done. they would have went in front of that jury and they would have said, look at this poor old feeble man who has dementia and is not capable of knowing what he did wrong. But since it's in the report and they chose not to file charges, now they're going to damn the people that did the report and the special counsel. Kind of makes you go, what in the fuck is going on in this country? The 5 Marines who are being referred to as missing after their helicopter was found while they were traveling from Nevada to California have been found dead this morning. The 5 Marines were conducting a training exercise and flying a CH-53 Super Stallion helicopter from Creech Air Force Base in Clark County, Nevada to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego, California. The helicopter reported its last known location around 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday night and was reported overdue at around 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. According to the Marine Corps, the helicopter was found in a mountainous, rugged area east of San Diego at about 9 a.m. on Wednesday. So about 8 hours after being reported overdue, they found the helicopter. But all reports stated the helicopter was found, but they were searching for the crew. Search and rescue crews and federal and local agencies looking for the Marines as rain and snow lashed the area. The weather conditions complicated the search efforts, with the San Diego Sheriff's Department saying that the fog was so heavy that they were not able to launch their helicopter as they had planned on Wednesday. Whether or not the helicopter landed safely with the Marines and the crew survived, or it crashed and they were all killed, is still unclear. Whether or not the crew was found within the helicopter or survived yet froze to death is unclear. And why this is still shrouded in unknowns is unknown. In fact, I've never in my life, I've been in aviation all my life, military and civilian, have seen a case like this where they're hush-hush on everything that took place. Just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not like the CH-53 is some classified top secret program. No, that helicopter's been around for years. It's ancient. So let's continue on about Joe Biden's issues. Joe Biden is having a difficult time competing with former President Trump on issues such as the economy and the border, despite recent job growth numbers, and slowing inflation, as poll after poll shows. Polls from CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, the only Republican conservative channel. The numbers come despite Biden's recent argument that his administration's economy policies are starting to work, telling voters in Michigan that inflation is coming down and that they had created 800,000 manufacturing jobs. Biden trails Trump, the frontrunner for the GOP presidential nomination, by 23 points when voters were asked who would be a better candidate to handle the economy. According to the results of the national NBC News poll, 55% of registered voters said they believed Trump would be the better candidate to steer the economy, compared to 33% who chose Joe Biden. When it comes to international policies, we see the same. The American people remember that during the Trump administration, we were not at war. Trump kept Russia from attacking Ukraine. Trump kept North Korea from testing nuclear weapons and launching missiles for the ability to deliver a nuclear weapon. Trump kept Iran in checkmate and literally scared the hell out of them if they attempted to support terrorist organizations such as Hamas attacking Israel. Overall, Trump managed to keep peace throughout Southeast and Southwest Asia, as well as Central and South America. Trump supported our Border Patrol and allowed them, Homeland Security, and the Department of Justice to secure the border by not allowing catch and release, implementing Remain in Mexico, and started building a physical wall. Not to mention Trump's support of our law enforcement and our military 100% with whatever they needed. The American people remember what Trump did. and have been watching 3+ years now how Joe Biden has done just the opposite. You cannot escape that, Democrats and liberals. The American people watch as Biden's FBI and Department of Justice turn on Republicans and conservatives while giving Democrats a pass to break laws. We watch the FBI raid Trump's home and remove what they call classified documents, then hold a grand jury and indict the former president. Then we watch the FBI ask Joe Biden's attorneys if they could do a courtesy check for classified documents at his home after Biden's attorneys turned over some classified documents that they had found. Of course, Biden agreed, and we watched as the FBI found classified documents that Biden had stashed at both his homes, his garage, and both of his offices. Classified documents that Biden took while he was not only the vice president, but also when he was a senator. Then, to add insult to injury, we watched as the Department of Justice decided not to hold a grand jury for Biden, doing twice over what Donald Trump did when it comes to classified documents, but decided to drop the case and make no charges for the same crime. In Trump's defense, he said he declassified the documents he took, and therefore he was able to keep them in his personal property. Joe Biden, on the other hand, maintains he had no idea how those classified documents ended up at his house or his office, nor did he have the power to declassify them anyhow, even if he wanted to. The American people are watching all of this corruption unfold, and they will remember this come this November. My friends, criminal enterprises in Chicago are benefiting from the migrant crisis as they recruit illegal immigrants to carry out crimes because they get little repercussions. A former Illinois police chief says the frustration with this migrant crime is really, I think, going to boil over. Retired Riverside Police Chief Tom Wetzel told Fox News Digital in a Zoom interview that took place on Monday. You can pull up any article and see that some of these migrants are being arrested 3, 4, and 5 times over and over again and released to commit more crimes. It's not an exaggeration to say that it's a revolving door. And police officers are saying, just forget it. Why bother to even arrest them? Chicago and its surrounding areas have been the target of repeated migrant crimes. So has New York City, including quiet suburban malls, seeing groups of people who illegally enter the U.S., ripping off department stores such as Macy's. Since August of 2022, Chicago has seen an estimate 35,000 migrants flood the city after they illegally crossed the southern border in Texas with bus or flew them north. Wetzel served as police chief of Riverside, a suburban village in Cook County located about 5 miles outside of Chicago from 2008 to 2021. When he retired, he served in law enforcement for 37 years, which included him being ambushed and shot in the line of duty in 1987 by Chicago criminals. The former police chief said that before the migrants crisis exploded in northern cities, Chicago was already dealing with 2020's crime wave that swept the suburban areas. Individuals from the city, gang members, and even gang enterprises would send individuals out to the suburbs to commit crimes at the suburban malls or residential areas for burglaries. And they would always flee back to East Chicago. That was a pattern that we're seeing happening every single day, he said. Now, the pool of criminals has seemingly expanded as some migrants land in the city and link up with the criminals, gangs, and criminal businesses that show them the ropes and how and where to commit the crimes. Migrants are dropped off at landing zones and immediately targeted by these organizations to go out and commit the crimes. Because would-be migrants know where Oak Brook, Illinois is, which is a very large high-end shopping mall, or Lombard, Illinois, or North Riverside, Illinois, which are all communities that have malls. They have no idea those communities even existed before. They would have no idea how to get there, where they're located from the city of Chicago, and transportation to get to and from. And these criminal enterprises are proving that for these migrants, they are the best way to commit the crimes. The quiet suburbs have been the site of repeated migrant crimes over and over and over again. Law enforcement makes the arrest, puts them in jail. The judges slap them on the wrist, or the liberal DAs, and let them go right back out the fucking door with not even bail being charged. He also said that such crimes could cripple suburban police departments completely, which often employ just a dozen officers and are not equipped for the influx of arrest and would be overwhelmed. Said some of the arrests, migrant arrests, were in retaliation to the theft of products worth more than $10,000, which he said is a good indicator that they're part of a larger criminal network. We have seen arrests where they recovered stolen property was in excess of $10,000. That would demonstrate that these migrants are not stealing just for themselves because they crossed the border with limited clothing. That's a good indicator that they're part of a larger criminal network. Additionally, we have had many arrests of migrants, offenders. The recent arrests from the same type of crimes in Chicagoland area. Clearly, these offenders are not committing one-off crimes, but will continue to enforce the law in a proactive manner in Oak Brook. So no matter how many times they make these arrests, and in some cases, they reported that there were the same guy in one day arrested 2 or 3 times, let out to go commit more crimes, to get rearrested and let out. So the gangs have figured this out. They know what they're doing. They know that under this administration, Joe Biden and his Department of Justice, that nothing will be done to them, that they will be able to be let right back out the freaking front door. No bail. A promise to reappear for court in 6 months or a year from now, to never be seen from again, because before that date comes up, they're going to have many more dates, and then eventually they're going to be relocated to another part of our country to commit more crimes. I could go on and on about the patheticness of this. It is absolutely unheard of what American citizens that are judges and DAs are allowing to happen all across this country. It's a travesty like we've never seen before. We literally have our law enforcement turned upside down on its head right now, all across America, in places that are run by liberals and Democrats. Pick any major metropolitan city in the United States of America that has a Democrat mayor. They also have what they appoint as a Democrat supported police chief. And what else? Democrat judges get elected. Democrat DAs get elected. And guess where all the crimes are taking place at? The majority of the crimes in those areas. You don't see that happening in Republican-controlled cities across this country because they don't play that stupid-ass game. You don't see BLM going around looting and burning in Republican cities, do you? No, you see that in Democrat cities. You don't see Antifa showing up in Republican-run cities doing their craziness. Nope, you see that in Democrat-run cities. If you haven't figured out by now that the Democrats are an evil party that are hell-bent on the destruction of this nation, then there's no help for you. And I'm telling you that from somebody that spent the majority of my life growing up as a Democrat. My whole family were Democrats. I was a proud Democrat. But it wasn't the party that it is now. The Democrat Party of JFK era is over with. This Democrat Party today allowed far left liberal ideology to hijack it and destroy it, and destroy our country in the process. It is absolutely sad what we're watching happen. Tomorrow, Friday, I will be putting out a special video. Well, I will share with you why this is happening in our country. I'm going to share with you some things that are taking place right now in America that have been taking place for a long time that you're going to need to be aware of, because I need you, we the people, to get involved to fix it, because the Democrats and the liberals will not. Joe Biden continues to talk to dead people. First, he said he spoke with Francisco Mitterrand, a French president, yet the French president had been dead for 30 years, so it's impossible. Now, he said yesterday that he had spoken in 2021 with German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, who actually had died 4 years earlier in 2017. Today, during the White House press briefing, a reporter asked point blank to the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, how is it possible, and should it be concerning, that Joe Biden talks to dead people? And she said that Biden misspoke. It happens to all of us, and it is common. Sadly, I'm not falling for it, and neither are the American people falling for it. We have watched over the past 3+ years Joe Biden not only claim to talk to dead people, but make statements that have no merit whatsoever, such as Joe Biden saying that he was raised in a synagogue when given a speech in front of a Jewish congregation. When speaking in front of Black congregation, he said he regularly attended an African American church. While speaking in front of a Puerto Rican congregation, he laid claim to be raised in a Puerto Rican community. None of those statements are true. It's blatantly not true. Either Joe Biden is a liar, or he's mentally unfit to be the president of the United States. Pick one, liberals and Democrats. Biden claimed he was friends with and had just spoken with an Amtrak conductor by the name of Angelo Nagria. But Nagria had been dead for more than a year and had been retired for more than 2 decades before the earliest moment they could have conceivably had the supposedly conversation that Biden keeps describing. Again, he's talking to dead people. When Biden was in Georgia to press for voting rights legislation, he made a passing reference to a moment from his past. The time he got arrested while protesting for civil rights that never happened. Biden invoked the civil rights battles of the 1960s as he spoke on a campus shared by Morehouse College and Clark Atlanta University, 2 historical Black colleges. I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, he said, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old. I was there as well. This drew laugh from the crowd. You think I'm kidding, man? It seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested. Again, it never happened. At a campaign event in 2020, Biden said he'd been arrested in South Africa in 1977 while attempting to see the then imprisoned Black leader Nelson Mandela. Again, it's not true. He's either a liar or he's mentally unfit to be the president of the United States. Pick one. Biden also continues to lie about his activism in the 1960s. Biden told a crowd that he marched in the civil rights movement, even though his advisors, according to the New York Times, gently reminded him that he had not. Yet Biden continues to make the claim. Biden has twice made claims of being arrested for less serious reasons. Once, when he accompanied two women to their Ohio University dorm in 1963, and another time when he said he wandered onto the floor of the U.S. Senate as a 21-year-old. In both cases, never happened. Biden said he was involved in two flare-ups over racial discrimination in housing that occurred near his home in Delaware when he was a teenager. However, there is no evidence that Biden has ever been arrested in his entire life, nor is there any evidence in any police station or anywhere in the criminal justice system. He either is a liar or he's mentally unfit. And the one that I still can't understand why he keeps saying it and why his handlers do not, I don't know, maybe they told him, maybe his wife's told him, who knows? It's possible that people have told him, stop saying this. It's making you look crazy. And that is his claim that his son, Beau Biden, died while serving in Iraq War. His son died in America 7 years after the Iraq War of brain cancer. And then today, as I started telling you in the beginning of the program, Joe Biden comes to the stage, to the microphone, in front of a bunch of members of press. In the beginning, he doesn't even have the ability, the mental ability, to point to and pick out a particular reporter and say, I'll take your question. No, they're all, every one of them at one time is saying, Mr. President, this, that, all talking. And he's just looking at them like he has no fucking clue what he's supposed to do. It was the most embarrassing thing. It's going to go down in history. This interview, this press conference today, I guarantee you will go down in history, is the most embarrassing moment of any president in American history. Watch it tonight when this show's over with, please. Trust me, it's going to be all over all the different social media platforms. You will see it, and you will see for yourself how embarrassing this was. That this man, they pushed out there. I'm surprised he didn't trip and fall. But it was obvious. He's there to try and take away what the report said, that he wasn't mentally fit, basically, to say that he is. And he proved in the press conference that he's not mentally fit. I felt sorry for the man. We should feel sorry for anyone that has mental problems in this country. It is a problem. It's a mental illness. He's not well. I'm not trying to make fun of the man. I'm just saying that there comes a point when you have to say enough. His wife, damn her. Damn any woman that would allow her husband to be made into a fool and humiliated like this, knowing damn well he is mentally not there. Damn her. And everybody in his immediate circle, family members, and those within the White House that are sitting back allowing this train wreck to unfold in front of us, Not stepping in and saying, time out, we got to step down, we can't do this. No, they just keep pushing him out there. Now, what's the alternative? A laughing hyena. But at this point, my friends, as much as I think she's as incompetent as he is, if not more, Joe Biden has to step down or they have to remove him. And I do believe after this report today and after what we watched happen in that press conference at the top of the hour or hour ago, the DNC is going to do something. They're going to have to step in and find somebody else, because there's not a snowball chance in hell from what we're witnessing that this man is capable of running to be president of the United States. He's not. He's just not. It's a sad thing when somebody has a mental illness. It happens to many, many people. When we get older, some people are able to maintain their memory and their mental sharpness to be 100 years old. And others in their 70s or even younger get full-blown dementia and can't function. You know, we're seeing that all over the place now. And it's sad. It's very, very difficult to watch it happen. And for those in Joe Biden's circle to keep pushing him in front of a camera, to embarrass himself like this on the world stage, that is elder abuse. And if he wasn't the president, if he was just somebody in charge of a local company and this was happening, the state would step in and take over, because it's humiliating. It's embarrassing. I wish this on no one, what we're witnessing happen to Joe Biden. We can all not agree with his policies. We can all agree that he's, got a lot of left-wing agenda or gender, all the crap he's. Look, if you go back and look at some of Joe Biden's past statements about gay people, about anybody in the LGBT community, about transsexuals, go look at some of the things he said when he was a senator. Well, they all forgot about that when he became president because they won't go back and do their homework. He was a homophobic son of a bitch. But then to become president, oh, he changed. No, he didn't change. He was closer to being on the right side of politics than anybody that was running to be the president to go up against what then became Donald Trump. But yet, as we found out, he's mentally losing it. And it's everybody's seeing it. Not just us, but our enemies. I mean, the world's on fire. America is on fire. Our law enforcement officers are walking around with targets on their back. Drugs are flowing across the border. MS-13 gang members, sex trafficking of women and children under this administration, because he put people in positions to run things like Department of Homeland Security or the Transportation Department, people in positions because of their sex or because of their race, not because of their qualifications, not because they should be in this position because they can do a great job. No. He picked people that were transsexuals and dressed up as fucking circus clowns to be on his team. Jean Perrine, why do you think she has that job? It isn't because she's qualified. We watch her every day give these press conferences. She's a fucking mess. She's got that job because she's a lesbian. Nothing against lesbians. That's why she got the job. Most of his cabinet are part of the LGBT community. And that's a good thing that they get jobs. I've got nothing against the LGBT community. I have plenty of gay friends. I've got nothing whatsoever against the community. I got something against anyone, regardless if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're black, white, what your religion is. When we hire you based on that and not your qualifications, that's when we have a destruction of our country. And that's what we have happening right now. Again, I will remind you that tomorrow I'm going to be putting out a video that is very important for American patriots to not only see this video, but share it with your family and friends and all your social media sites. I'm going to lay out exactly how we got where we're at right now. And I'm going to call out some people for doing some things that's going to blow your mind. I promise you. When this video is over with tomorrow, after you watch it, you're going to be like, what in the hell is going on? Tonight, we started last Tuesday's show going out live on Rumble, on X, formerly Twitter, on Facebook. When I'm not in Facebook jail, they let me go live on the Facebook show, Facebook group or page, live on LinkedIn, as well as here on YouTube. The Rumble account that we've been trying to get the show to go live on for several years now. We haven't been able to because there was a problem with StreamYard working with Rumble to make that happen when you're adding other places like we're doing to go live on several different platforms. That's now been fixed. And last Tuesday, when we went out to all these different places live, we streamed perfectly fine on Rumble. And to my knowledge, unless something's happening I don't know about, it's streaming on Rumble perfectly fine tonight too. Rumble will become the new home of the Douglas Ducote Show in the very near future, because I want to get off of this platform, YouTube, more than you can ever possibly imagine. It is run and operated by far left, hateful, bigotry liberals that want to censor conservatives, Republicans, and allow Democrats and liberals to spew whatever the hell they want about anyone and break all of their rules, all of them. But let a conservative or Republican break one and you're in timeout and your show's shut off for several days or a week, which has happened to us many times. So there will come a time soon. We're going to wait until we know for a fact, hands down, everything is fixed with the Rumble and StreamYard issues that we've been having. And once we know that we can religiously go live on Rumble and these other platforms, I will do it. I can't wait to do that video. The last video on YouTube to tell YouTube where to go. It's going to be epic. And I can't wait. Folks, in the description of this show and all my shows, all my videos, you can see all the different places. You can follow me on social media. Please do so. I'll follow you back. But most importantly, go to Rumble. It's free, just like YouTube is free. It's free. And they support conservatives and Republicans, and they do not censor us. And thanks to Elon Musk buying Twitter, now calling it X, the same thing is happening there. X has many, many, many thousands of Republicans and conservatives that have now come back to the channel that used to be, or the platform that used to be Twitter, because we can share our information and not be shut down anymore. Now, yes, there are some people that push the envelope and are getting shut down. And those that have done that for most parts I've seen why they happen. Okay. You can't be stupid with it. But if you can back it up and it's factual, they're not going to bother you, just like Rumble won't. But this place here, YouTube, whole different ball game, my friends. Go to the Rumble account, the Douglas Ducote Show. Follow me there, because that will become the future home of this program. If something breaks between now and next Tuesday, I'll do a video about it. Other than that, it's Mardi Gras time this whole month here in Louisiana. The parties have started. The celebrations are happening. We're having Mardi Gras parades almost every night now. I plan to at least attend one parade that I will do videos thereof. Or actually, I'm thinking about doing a live video of an entire Mardi Gras parade one night to share with you all. I think that would be kind of cool. For those of you who've never been to Mardi Gras, never been to a Mardi Gras parade, to see it happening live, I think would be very, very cool. You had many places to be. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I'm forever thankful. Appreciate you. Folks, as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, and all their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Have a blessed evening. Whatever you're doing this weekend, be safe and have fun. I'm thinking about going down to Pensacola, Florida, and kicking back and having a few Mai Tais with my wife on the beach and just relaxing, because it looks like it's going to be a wonderful time down there. And that's what it's all about, folks. Enjoying your life when you can. Take care, everyone. God bless you. And I'll see you soon.